Danmachi Light Novel Volume 18 Part 1. Double Roll 2. Always, the last place I arrive is always a field of flowers. When I was in heaven, I wasn't particularly free. Among the gods, the god of beauty is a very special type. This omnipotence is both nectar and poison. The power contained in the enchantment that even affects the gods is irresistible, and can even destroy the gods. The great God and many other gods yearn for us, God of beauty, but also have fear in their hearts. It is not uncommon for them to want to accept us as their gods and turn into your own puppets. So there are only two ways to deal with the god of beauty: destroy or pamper like a princess. Generally speaking, the latter is adopted. A virgin goddess is then placed closer as a safety device. For example, she, who is also the goddess of beauty, Aphrodite, is often scolded by the virgin goddess Artemis. To prohibit us from invading or dominate the skies, this world's guardians can use their powers at will, which is an unwritten rule. So I too was placed under surveillance and restricted in my movements, which was not the case. Because even virgins can be enchanted with me. Among the goddesses of beauty, they are also special gods. All other gods worship and fear me whether I like it or not. I'm afraid, the only one who can truly counter my epic power from the Olympus sky, the three goddesses. Therefore, I was strictly managed. On the surface, this is a paradise where you can do whatever you want. Essence is the endless prison I'm trapped in. Be it the only great temple in the sky given to me, or the many servant gods and elves who guard the temple, they are all fetters that bind me. Arrest. Hateful is the man who built this prison. The god Odin might have a clear understanding of my interests and hobbies. He found this Queen Freya, the existence I don't want to give up, even using them and their pure feelings, it became a chain that holds me. He himself lives quietly in a place unaffected by the enchantment, and if something happens, he will throw a sharp weapon at me. To kill. That's what that boring old god thought. However, I never regretted my own lack of freedom. Although there are countless dissatisfactions in my heart, as the goddess of beauty and love, I still accept the status quo. This is not irony. After all, I am loved by the gods, and I enjoy more honorable treatment than any god. It's funny to think that it's unhappy. The most important thing is that I had already seen it before being put in the cage, and I was in a situation of recognition and seeing everything. After all, isn't this just playing house? No one will challenge me, nor can anyone challenge me. Everyone knelt on the floor, begging for my love. No matter how strong a warrior is, no matter how evil an evil god is, they are all extremely diligent to obtain my love. On the other hand, if I seek love from the other party, no matter what kind of existence exists, I will give love. I began to feel that this love was the most empty thing in all the worlds. Maybe nobody understands me. Maybe no one understands how I feel. However, on the one hand, these people desperately yearn for my love. On the other hand, since it is me asking, but also giving free love, this contradiction is really distorted. Beauty and love can turn into abyss-like black desires or a pure white plane. This has nothing to do with charm. As long as I am a beauty god, this emptiness will haunt me forever. In other words, I, the goddess of beauty and love, can never escape this yoke called emptiness. This made me discover something, that is, I, who command love, am a slave to love. No matter how reckless I pretend to be, no matter how cruel a witch I pretend to be, I can never break free from the goddess yoke. For the last time, she showed her true smile from the bottom of her heart, instead of the masked smile that fascinates all beings. When did it appear? I can't remember anymore. Love is really convenient. Get what you want. Nothing is out of reach. Love is really wonderful. able to create happiness. Once you cultivate happiness, it will cause envy in others. Love is very beautiful. It must also be beautiful. If it is not beautiful, then it cannot be called love. After all, calculating profit and loss cannot be called love. As long as there is a little ugliness, it loses the qualification to be considered love. Otherwise sex would not be ridiculed and narcissism would not be condemned. Love must be sacred. Everyone has a fantasy about love. Love is undoubtedly the noblest and most beautiful thing. So, if I'm not more beautiful, will I be forgotten by love? So, if I abandon beauty, will I free myself from the goddess yoke? I want to get dirty. So I tried to get dirty. I huddled in this cage called a prison surrounded by male gods, eager for all kinds of happiness. The goddesses were also called, and everything imaginable obeying was attempted. The Hindu and its ilk cannot compare to it. Among the flat skies, if you want to say, where the coldest and most immoral is without a doubt the great temple. That dates me. I spent hundreds of thousands of years indulging in the sea of lust and lust. Then, at a certain point, I, who was a god but surrounded by a deep feeling of exhaustion, realized something. Eyes looking at me. That look of love that looked at me with tenderness. No changes. No changes. As filthy as it is, no. One will abandon me even if it takes almost forever. The yoke of the goddess is still on my body. I screamed. For the first time, I completely threw out the character and the like and ran out of the grand temple. Over mountains, over valleys, across seas, through stars. Transforming into the appearance of a girl who is one of the 100 apparitions, she breaks free from her pursuers and wanders endlessly in the endless sky. In the end, it's a vast sea of flowers. There is no longer a boundary between heaven and earth. In the beautiful ocean of red flowers, my knees buckled and I collapsed. I didn't cry. However, the tears will continue to fall from your eyes. Oh sure, I am overcome with this kind of bearish emotion, and the intense emotion has long since turned into a dry desert. So even though I didn't feel sad at all, I still covered my face with my hands like a little girl. The unstoppable rain turned to gold, running down the red flowers and wetting the earth. I am unable. I cannot find. I don't know what I'm looking for either. But I must be looking. Seeking something to free myself from the yoke of the goddess. Empty tears without sadness ran for 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 nights. And when the petals fell, the roots bent and the golden fountain was about to drown me, it appeared. The goddess Eden. She has a beauty almost understood to a goddess of beauty, but she is an innocent and good goddess. She said she can't see me living a life lustful, so she came to scold me. After looking around for a long time, she said, covered in sweat. And then excitedly spoke about youth based on the things for which she was loaded. She said that the relationship between men and women should be more relaxed. She said that both sweetness and suffering must be faced together. No matter how much time passes, the soul must remain young, she said. She said, so you come with me too, let's go for the youth. I thought at the time, just kill her. So I got up, walked behind her who was talking to herself and was about to grab her slender neck with both hands. So Freya, go find your mate or be somewhere. Let's enjoy the youthful spring day with this existence. I think this should be able to free you from the shackles of the yoke. Listen to this, I'm sure the goddess Eden is mocking. How could there be such an existence? I laughed. However, I decide to believe the absurdity of this goddess. After all, there is no evidence that he does not exist. I went back to the temple and made noise, and since then I have a distorted collection. I continue to collect beautiful things, looking mainly into the souls of children, seeking my own existence from them. then sneak out of the dwindling temple again and again. All the time is looking for your ord. As a disease, she dons the appearance of a girl and goes to the limitless world of heaven. She escaped several times, deftly avoiding pursuers, but she never found her ord, leaving me even more disappointed. I don't want to be infected by the poison of boredom, so I seek thrills, occasionally deal with the meeting gods and continue my wandering journey. It should also be around this time, I would occasionally use goddess Freya and virgin goddess Hestia we meet. When I met up with Eden again, she asked with a slow smile, "Still haven't found her ord dash," as I pinched her almost to the bone. Death, I also understood something. There's only one thing we beauty gods can't get. Precisely because we are more beautiful than anything. It is because of love. I thought what the other beauty gods would think and immediately gave up. Obviously it's just a waste of time. Other beauty gods were never as worried as I was. They have no doubts that they are the absolute queens and take it for granted they are beneficence or dedication. Claiming to be the supreme being, it doesn't care about other things. The arrogant goddess of beauty Ishtar, how enviable. Stupid goddess of beauty Aphrodite, it's really enviable. Even if they meet, they can still make fun of him or turn him into a wound that has already healed. So I spent a lot of time looking all over the sky. My ord. Not in this ocean of heaven. So the next time I must go is the lower realm. Turns out it was the age of the gods when the gods asked to come down, so I joined them too. Ostensibly to counteract the boredom that has nowhere to assuage in the heavens, to dream of new possibilities in an imperfect world. And the hungry quest to find the miraculous unknown, to find my ord however. This small lower realm is much smaller than the heavenly realm, and I saw the edge at a glance, and my prayer immediately turned to in despair. All the horizontal terrain has been found, and then it's just a matter of waiting for the vertical rhythm to flow. At that time, I had already formed family and I felt very tired. Even when she showed the queen's smile in front of the lovely children, she was still thinking of her that she could very well to be corroded by the poison of boredom and fall into eternal sleep. One day, I smartly avoided the family and went to a place by myself, which happened to have a setting similar to the hometown of heaven. It was a field of red flowers sunk in twilight. I reached the center of the flower field, fell to the ground and shed tears. This time, she was followed by sadness, endured disdain, and desperately suppressed despair in her heart. This was probably the first and last tear she shed in the nether realm. Oh, I was wrong. After all, the girl still shed tears in front of you.